from the heart of Dubai, where tomorrow is being built today, to the world. Welcome to the CTO Show with Mehmet. Here, we redefine technology and reimagine possibilities. With Mehmet, delve into the riveting realms of AI, cybersecurity, and digital technology. Experience the thrilling highs and lows of startups. Immerse yourself in the spirit of entrepreneurship and witness the future of business innovation being written in real time. Now, without further ado, let's tune in and explore the future.
Hello and welcome back to an episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. Today I'm very pleased to join me, Elipaz Tanzman. He's the CEO of Cygnostic. Elipaz, the way I love to do it is I keep it to my guests to introduce themselves. So tell us more about you, your background, your journey, and what you're currently up to, and then we can start the discussion from there. Of course, we're going to talk a lot about cybersecurity today, the AI, and also the other areas that usually you are expert in. So the floor is yours.
Thank you for having me with you today. So my name is Elipaz Tanzman. I'm the co-founder and CEO with Cygnostic. My background started from the military, where I was a cybersecurity officer in the Navy. And then I have a few stops in my career. I had another consulting company, which was one of the founder. And today at Cygnostic, we are focusing and specializing in application security, AI, LLM security, and cloud security. And I'm also part of the ISO International Committee for the ISO 27001.
That's great. And thank you again for being here with me today, Elipaz. Now, a traditional question and kind of a maybe boring question. Cybersecurity is not an easy track for someone to take it in their career. We know it's a lot of headache, it's a lot of stress, but what attracted you to this field?
Actually, good questions. It's a big headache, I have to say. And actually, I didn't choose cybersecurity. It wasn't my, let's say, my hobby or my passion at the beginning. But when I was at the Navy, I started as an intelligence officer, and then they told me you are going to be a cybersecurity officer. At the beginning, I didn't want to do it, but then I fell in love with this domain, and today I really like it. And today it's my life, basically.
Okay, good. If it's something you're passionate about, that's fantastic, Elipaz. Now let's start, maybe with some I would call them few threats, right? When we talk about security, we talk about cyber threats. We talk about things that organizations are facing. Uh, they keep changing from time to time. Some of them they are with us for a long time. But from your perspective, what are the major ones we are seeing them today? Uh, and maybe I would ask generally, and then we're gonna talk more about software development, especially in the age of AI. But let's start from a general, perspective, and then maybe we can dive into, specific areas in it.
Yeah. So I think that it's mainly depend on the company, let's say industry and so on, because for every industry they have their own risks. And of course today the most common threat or the most common cybersecurity breaches are coming from the human side, and we have a lot of ransomware attacks, because eventually we need to remember that the job and let's say the salary of the attackers is the payments they receive from their attacks. So it usually will be a ransomware attack or any data thief, and then they steal the data on the darknet and so on. And the final goal of each cybersecurity breach and attack will be to receive the money in that way or another. It could be from the company itself to receive the ransom, or it could be from selling the data and things like that. Of course, we have the, let's say, national political agendas of cyber attacks group that are doing it not for money, but for let's say specific interest to influence their enemies and things like that. But eventually we have multiple threats out there. They are always evolving. There is new threats now coming with the AI, and it's really depends. And each company should do their own thinking and risk management about what they prioritize and what they want to defend from, and what risk they can live with peacefully and continue to operate successfully.
Right. Now, while preparing for the episode, I saw that you talk about something which really attracted me because when we talk about cybersecurity in general, we talk about being strict, right? And I saw like you talk about making R&D and security building BFFs, right?
Yeah.
Best friends forever. How's that possible? And before telling me how that possible, like what usually like some of the common roadblocks you see organization they face when they try to move fast, especially again in the age of AI. We need to be fast, we need to ship fast, but at the same time we need to make sure that we're doing this in a secure manner. So tell me about this, like how we can make them really BFFs.
Yeah, so it's actually it's really hard, but the reason why we established Cygnostic in this domain is because from our background and experience, we saw it when it comes to the organizations that have their own internal development team. It could be 20 developers, it could be 2,000 developers. It doesn't matter. All of them have huge conflicts between the security team to the R&D team because a few main reasons. It could be because the R&Ds always want to develop new features and new products, new applications, and eventually the goal of the organization is to develop and deliver their products to their customers. And the security team goal is to secure basically the application. But the R&D team will always be stronger than the security in most of the cases. And the reason they have conflicts is because the security teams wants to have 100% coverage on the self-development lifecycle to manage the risks accordingly, and basically to stop from misconfigurations or vulnerabilities deploying to production. And the way they are doing it today, it's pretty wrong, because they are, let's say, step in too late into development lifecycle and provide wrong visibility to the R&D team, and sometimes it's a false positive, and they have a lot of noise when they are doing the risk management or risk discovery inside the secure development lifecycle, and that's what causing the let's say the conflicts between the R&D and security teams. And our goal is to make them best friends forever, because we do believe that it's possible to integrate the security efforts into the developer's native workflow without a lot of conflicts, fatigue, and things like that. And by doing it, we can have a very good harmony between the teams and main, let's say, share the common goals to have together, and to harness the R&D team to the security team efforts and goals. So this is what
And
we are
this
trying to do.
Yeah, and this all can happen without like how this will affect, I would say, the how fast they can ship, right? Does it slow down the product delivery, or you've seen it like no, if it they apply what the practices that you mentioned, still we will be able to ship fast. We will not have delays, right?
Yeah, so this is the goal, to still ship fast, but do it securely.
Okay, I got you. Now, with the age of AI and AI in development specifically, Elipaz, so there are like kind of new challenges over there. So starting from the team using LLM tools and maybe putting sensitive data over there, to just getting code, and I've discussed this with some of my guests on the show. Also, that code that we bring from an LLM tool, like how secure is it? Like, and what are like some of the best practices you're advising your clients to do when it comes to utilizing AI in the core thing they do, which is like writing the code itself?
Yeah. So today, all the AI code assistants are not very much secure, let's say. Even with the private module inside tools like, GitHub Copilot and Cursor AI, they still sending the API keys to their own cloud and module to scan it and enable the code inside. So today we recommend to use tools that allow to adopt AI code assistant securely, but by limiting the secrets inside the prompts, inside the code, and basically redact them from getting into the LLM model. And even that all of them saying that they are not using your code to train their LLM module and use it for its private tenant and so on, so on. We still saw some breaches and some researchers that saw that the API keys are publicly exposed, and you can get a lot of sensitive data from those LLM tools. But I think the most uh, biggest interesting thing around AI today is that today we have a lot of AI security tools. We have, security for AI, AI for security, AI against security, security against AI. We have everything with AI inside. But I think that, let's say, on the roadmap of all the biggest AI and LLM companies out there, they will integrate the security configurations and features inside their models. Because if today, let's say in the last 2 years, we have a significant development of the AI maturity of the tools and so on, so I guess it won't be a problem to make them secure and basically have them as part of the tools itself. Because for OpenAI and Anthropic and all the other companies, it doesn't have to be, let's say, a big issue to integrate security inside their own tools and provide a better solutions for both private people and, of course, organizations and enterprises. But I think that because we have like almost every new day, new features, the new tools, and we have now the MCP and the A2A and the OpenAI agent, and let's see what we will have tomorrow. So I think every organization should take some cautions while they are adopting AI, and and they have to figure out how to do it on the best way, according also to regulations, which also the regulations out there are pretty, let's say, new. We have the EU AIAC, we have the ISO 40001, but I think we will have some new regulations soon, which will have a better frame and standards for using AI inside organizations.
That's good. This brought to me something. I'm not sure when I saw it. We are recording this episode for the sake of transparency on the 29th of July. So I think this week or last week I saw one of the apps that was developed using the vibe coding tools. It leaked a lot of data, and this was a disaster. So this is why I want you, Elipaz, also to explain, because I have some entrepreneurs as well or that listen to my show, why they should take security really seriously from day one, and they should not keep it, till an advanced stage, till someone comes and asks them, hey, can you tell me what security measures are you using? Do you have any certificates? Right. So let us a little bit also explain why it's important for all companies, but specifically for a startup to give that good attention and not leave it for a later stage.
Yeah. So we just talked about that usually the R&D teams are stronger than the security teams. And, once you have a department inside the organization that tells you that they have a tool that can multiple or 10 times faster to develop the code and things like that, you cannot stop them. The management will want it, because if they can develop faster, it means they will have new feature faster, new money faster, and so on and so on. And the reason it's important to take it into consideration from the beginning is because once you're implementing AI across your processes and other departments inside the organization, it will be very hard to make changes after it's already implemented. I have a lot of customers that saying that they want to secure their AI, but the R&D team already started using it, and they don't know which tools exactly and what they are doing inside, and they don't have the visibility and the controls and monitoring and so on and so on. And then it become a very hard chase for the security team to minimize the gap between the usage of AI inside the company to implement all the security controls they want. And eventually, we have to remember that all of those AI tools are pretty new, and they are also focused on develop new features and new capabilities, and less focused on security. That's why we have a lot of researchers that found a lot of vulnerabilities, and we have one of our vendors that we are working with, Pine, that they found they used Claude to hack Claude MCP. And it's a very big research, and because of that, and because I guess all the companies want to save and secure their secrets internally, and their PI as well, and other sensitive data, they have to take it into consideration and not fall in love with the all the let's say all the new features or all the promises coming with AI, and go after it with blind people, and just do what they want to do, because eventually it can cost them much more money if they will have a breach because the usage of AI, or because they want to implement new controls, rather than develop and shift their products and application faster.
Now, there is something you mentioned a couple of minutes ago about the MCPs, Elipaz, and you know, and people say that this is an evolution of the API security. Now, we know for a fact that even some organizations, they didn't reach to the stage where they are securing their APIs. So, how are you seeing now this? I would say, initiatives, and what CISOs actually should be thinking now for getting their DevSecOps in shape with all these advancements. So where should they start? If you go today and talk to a CISO or CIO, whoever is in charge in that organization, and you see like they don't have a lot of maybe they have basic authentication, maybe they implemented some basic identity solutions. So how to start to build this stack, how they can move to get in a better form and shape. And we know, of course, that we will never have 100% security. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But where to start and how to build that stack?
Yeah, so I think first of all, those kind of organizations should maybe, I know that we are talking now about security and all the risk around it and so on, but MCP is, let's say, a very new feature in AI, and I don't see a lot of organizations already using MCP in production and really leveraging MCP for internal usage. But I think that most of the organization need to take care about other risks before they are thinking about securing their MCP. It's very important, but there is a lot of other risks and things that they have to put into consideration before they're running to secure their MCP and say they're doing it correctly. And I am a member in a lot of communities and groups that are talking about MCP, and they want to start using MCP, but now they need to secure it from authorization, authentication, encryption point of view, and so on. But before that, they don't even have a tool for scan their code and perform dynamic testing, or have a well-established web application firewall and things like that. So I think before running to secure new things that even developers don't know how to do it correctly right now, I think they need to put their attention for some bigger risks today. And also, but if they do want to secure their MCPs, first of all, they have to gain the visibility on the MCPs they have inside the company, because every developer today and every simple employee in the organization can create his own MCP server and basically do whatever he wants. So first thing, I think it's most important thing when it comes to security in every domain is to have the visibility, 100% coverage and visibility on the risks and the asset they have, and then they can talk about how to secure it and how to do it properly.
Right. Now, few minutes ago, also, Elpaz, you mentioned about the frameworks and standardization, right? So, as a member of the ISO 2700 Standards Committee, um, how are you seeing the support and the speed that we want to implement these new frameworks going on? Um, what in another way, if I wanted to make it more clear, um, are we evolving these frameworks at also speed that allows us to make sure that organizations have the standards in place and the measures in place to get a secure innovation environment for themselves?
Yeah, so I think the new AI regulations on standards, again, today we have the EU AI Act, which is mostly for European companies and so on, or companies that have European customers. And we have the ISO 40001, which is AI management system standards. It's not only related to security, but mostly for AI governance inside the organization. And I think it will take some time until those standards and regulations will become common. We have some customers that comply with those regulations and standards, and we see it starting to become more common, but I think it will take some time. And I think that we will need better standard for AI security. And I think because we talked about AI, and AI is a big world. So we have Gen AI tools, we have LLM models, we have the MCP, we have RAG, we have a lot of things inside AI, and I think there is no one standards that can provide, let's say, the best framework for all those use cases. And I think it will take some time, because I speak with a lot of organizations that leveraging AI that way or another, and most of them are not thinking about this regulations. The EU AI Act just started to be mandatory about 1 year ago, and there is like a grace period of, I think, 2 years or something like that until it will become mandatory, and they will start to enforce this regulation. So I think we have some steps to do in this side of the governance and standards around AI. And I think also the standards, let's say, all the ISO and other. We have, of course, also the OS top 10 for LLM, which is let's say framework for LLM risks and attack, like prompt injection, jailbreaking, denial of fault. But I think it will be changing a lot of times during the next few years until we have mature standards that really fit to the use cases in the field of organization. And I'm really curious to see how it will develop and what will be the actions around it.
Right. Do you envision, Elipaz, do you think that the AI companies, mainly the ones who are producing the LLMs and the ones who are producing, all these tools, should contribute more to these standards or to these new frameworks, or do you think it's more practitioners like yourself, like who are seeing, incidents on daily basis that will be contributing more, or maybe it's like also something that would come from the what they call them, the company that they are building on top of these LLMs. They're building, wrappers or whatever you want to call them. So who are you seeing the biggest contributors to these new frameworks?
Yeah, we always laughing then and saying that thanks God we have regulations and standards, otherwise we don't have work to do. Because eventually standards and regulations, they're the most, let's say, best way to convince company to invest in security, because they have to be comply with those regulations, laws, standards, and so on. And I think the biggest interest of to contribute to those standards are the security vendors. And we do see a lot of security vendors publishing researchers and things like that around the security risk in order to convince companies to leverage security into their AI efforts. But I also see some, the consumers that contributing to those communities and help developing new framework standards and so on, because eventually it's supposed to be a common goal for all the industry to have a secure AI usage for all the world, from the individual people using AI till the biggest enterprises out there. It should be a common goal for everyone.
Right. Now, let's talk a little bit business if we can, Elipaz, because CISOs, when of course they want to implement the latest and greatest, the best for their organizations, but also they need to show ROI somehow. When it comes to application security mainly, which is one of your domain of expertise, um, how they can take that in front of their business counterparts, put it in front of them, and get the business case for adopting solutions for enhancing their application securities, their API securities, and so on. What have you seen working from your experience?
So very, very good question, actually, and this is a very big challenge. And I think that alongside all the security tools that most of the organization are implementing inside their SDLC, which is SAST, SCA, DAST, runtime solution, WAF, and so on, the best way to prove and show the ROI for the management or the R&D teams and really harness them into your efforts is to build security champion program. And today we are doing it as part of our services, and we train developers to develop securely. And in that way, what we are doing in terms of ROI is to show that as long as the developers are more, they have more security knowledge, and they know how to develop their code securely and how to mitigate risks in the code faster and how to detect security vulnerabilities in their code faster, we can show that we minimize the number of vulnerabilities reaching to production, and we can show that we minimize the time developers are spending around security tasks and solving security tickets and so on. And I think this is the best ROI that you can show, because eventually the goal of CISO should be to allow developers to focus on developing and not securing their application. And the way to do it is, first of all, to train them and harness them to your efforts and goals. But second, from the tool perspective, is to provide them the right tool and remove all the noise and false positive around it. Because if you will, train your developers, and they will be better than you, better than the CISO in solving security issues in the code. But eventually you provide them a list of supposed to be vulnerabilities in their code, but most of them is false positive. In that way, you lose them very quickly, and you're wasting a lot of time for the developers. And I think that this is the way you need to prove the ROI, to provide them the right alerts and the right risk that really affect, with the right context, that really affect their code, their application, and also help them to do it quickly and integrate natively in the developer workflow. And then you can show how you minimize the number of security tickets, how you minimize the number of vulnerabilities in production, how you minimize the time they spend around solving and mitigating misconfigurations and vulnerabilities. And I think should be the goal of every CISO out there.
Got you. Of course, yeah. So this is a very clear roadmap and approach, I would say, for getting the ROI. Now, Elipaz, I know we talked a lot of about AI, but if we want to see some other trends that are affecting, application security in general, um, what is keeping you at night currently when you look about all what's happening? What are you expecting the next wave of threats to be when it comes to that domain specifically? You know, like like AI is able to do a lot of things, right? Scary things. So what are you expecting few trends? And I will not ask you in 10 years or like even 5 years, because I know things are changing, and you mentioned it like a couple of minutes ago. Like we wake up on something, and then we sleep, we wake up next day, it's a completely different world. But from experience, from what you're seeing in the field, what are the next wave of threats that you are expecting them to surface, and how we can be ready for these threats?
To be honest, I don't know. I think a lot about it every day, actually. But I really don't know. I think we have enough threats and risks uh, to think about it and take care of it. But I think it will still be around AI. But from the other side, I hope that, again, the AI will provide us also security features, and the AI code assistant will know how to develop or try to debug the code and do it securely, and maybe even to, I guess that we will see some of the security tools that we are using today coming not efficient because the AI will do it alone. So this is really what I hope from the other side. But honestly, I don't know. I think we have enough threats and risk to think about them right now.
Yeah, we have a lot to deal to deal with
Yeah.
already today. To your point, um, you know, again, a traditional question, but as we are coming to the close, if someone today, Elipas, comes to you, he's or she's a student, or I don't know, maybe drop out of college, but they are interested in cybersecurity, what advice you would give them to be better prepared for a career in this domain, which is changing by the day? What are some of the lessons you can share with the new generation, I would say?
Yeah. So actually, I talked with a lot of students and young people recently. I'm also very young, yeah. But
Yes, you are.
yeah. But I talked with a lot of people that want to start their career in cybersecurity, and of course, the first thing I tell them or ask them that is they really want to do it because they love it, or because the money they think they can earn during their career. But the second thing, I think it depends on what you really want to do with cybersecurity, because we have a lot of different roles under the cybersecurity domain. But I think even if you want to be a CISO and not or a GRC guy and not a technical one, like penetration tester or DevSecOps and things like that, the best way to do it is to understand and have experience from the technical side. So, for example, I started my career as an intelligence officer and a cybersecurity officer, and so on and so on. But during my career, I took a DevOps course in order to speak the same language of DevOps. And also I took a development course to really talk their language. And today, because I know how to talk the DevOps and the R&D developers, QA, and so on, because I know to talk in their language, I know how to do how to help them with the security a lot better. And in that way, the most important thing, and I mentioned it a few times during this episode, is to harness your consumers, which in my case are the R&D team, to your efforts. And the best way to do it is to understand what they are doing. And I think, of course, with the AI, I think it's also important to take some AI course to understand how it works, how to build the RAG, how LLM working, and so on, because I think that will be the futures in every not only in cybersecurity, in every other domain. So this is what I
Absolutely.
recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing this, Elipaz. Final question, Elipaz, where people can get in touch?
What?
Where people can get in touch with you?
So you can get in touch. We can share my email. It's elipaz@cygnostic.io. We have our website, LinkedIn. We have our own Slack community, so people can get in chat, get in touch, can book a meeting directly through our website with me, and we can discuss everything we want. We can consult about how to make SSDLC better and how to make your R&D BFFs with your security teams, with all the lab.
Great. Again, thank you so much, Elipaz, for the time today, and thank you for being here with me. And this is usually, of course, the links will be in the show notes, so people they don't have to look right, left. Everything will be in the show notes. So this is for the audience. This is how I end my episodes. If you just discovered us by luck, thank you for passing by. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was very informative from Elipaz to talk about how you can make your R&D more secure, but at the same time, BFFs. So that means ship fast and being secure. So thank you, Elipaz. And if you are one of the fans who keep coming again and again, thank you very much for your support. Thank you for making the CTO show with Mehmet reach more than 500 episodes. We just aired our 500th episode 2 weeks ago. And again, you take us this year to new level by being on the top 200 charts across multiple countries. To be specific, 8 countries at the same time. I'm hoping to go to multiple countries more and more, of course, all with your help, because my aim and goal with my guests, of course, is to get you the latest news about technology, cybersecurity, startups, entrepreneurship, and of course, inspire you to do something to change the world to become a better place. So thank you very much for being on this journey with me. And as I say always, stay tuned for a new episode very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hit that subscribe button, share the show with your tech-savvy friends and fellow entrepreneurs, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Your support means the world to us.